first of all, my apologies for going a couple minutes over. Next time, for sure, we won't need to go over because I don't have to go through those sort of the facts and figures and stuff. For next time, we'll just jump right into the stages. So I know some of you may be needing to leave, and that's okay. I hope I'll see you at the second session. But if anybody has questions, comments, something that you would like to share, please let me know. I would love to hear, and I'm happy to stay here for a little bit more and take questions. I'm also going to put into the chat field the registration line for day 2, the registration link for day 3, and my contact details if you need to contact me. On day 2, we are going into stage blue, orange, and green. And if you've been paying attention and have not been living under a rock, you will realize that most of Western society is at these 3 stages. And this is where all of the polarization, all the infighting, all the political warfare and the culture wars, they're all happening primarily within the next 3 stages that we're going to be talking about. And that's blue, orange, and green. If you want to, I already put the links to the videos earlier. If somebody came late and you didn't see the video links, I'll put them here as well. So these are all good links. Okay, any questions, any comments? What's coming up for you just getting into this world of stages?
Oh, Nomali, this was fabulous. And you are taking us out of our innocence. Now we're going to go to movies and we're going to see people, and our urge to judge and to see colors will be flashing before our eyes. And this has really been very insightful. I just wanted to make that comment, but I want to leave plenty of room for other questions or responses and reflections.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone else? Questions, comments, thoughts, feelings? Jack, yes.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I mean, in terms of practical use of this knowledge, I mean, I guess I could see perhaps the benefit of being introspective and kind of understanding yourself better, of what's possible. But yeah, I'm just wondering, like, in terms of outside of introspection, is there any practical uses in how you understand others or relate with others,
yes,
interactions, things like that?
Absolutely. So as we keep evolving and we learn about the next set of stages that are coming up, one of the biggest things that we need to learn to do is to be with people and meet people where they're at. When we keep evolving, we start to behave as though we are typically at the later stages and that we are somehow sort of the more educated or more evolved people. And we are trying to change other people. And instead of changing other people and trying to change other value systems, when we learn a model like this, we are deeply learning and encouraging ourselves to meet people where they're at. Similarly, let's say, for example, a big problem like climate, for example. How do we make society? Because as we know, not everybody in society is able to really get behind a big hyper object or a big hyper issue like climate change, for example. There's a lot of people, millions of people in the US where I live, don't even believe in it. So how do we make incremental changes, and how do we translate the language or the message that we're trying to give to different stages of society or different pockets of society? How do we translate our message in different ways so that people begin to hear that in their own way, so that people hear what they need to hear in their own language? And by that, I don't mean language as in Chinese and Spanish and French, and I don't mean that, but I mean the language of these stages of development, right? So how do we challenge certain systems? That's one way of actually using this. So I will also say that in the world of people development, coaching, organizational development, you're actually also able to translate or apply these stages to collective spaces as well. So, for example, if some of you have heard about companies like Uber, Uber had a lot of red power energy, and you may have seen the Hulu TV show. It's a big disaster when there's too much red. So learning to be careful around that even. It's only the first 3 stages right now. So as we learn some of the next incoming up stages, we will learn more about how valuable it is to learn these stages. So thank you for that question, Jack. Hardy, I see your hand go up.
Yeah, one of my interests is the realm of spirituality, and even the question of how God or divinity is perceived at each of the stages of development. And my background is rooted in the Christian tradition. And as I read the Bible, I can see God portrayed from a very bright red, angry divinity who says to a group of people, I want you to go into this other land, and I want you to destroy every man, woman, child, and animal in that land and take it for your own possession. And I also see the divinity progress or evolve to be perceived as a loving divinity who holds no grudges and has space for all in this loving, caring, nurturing heart. And to me, some of the value of this is to recognize, as I'm having conversations with people, what their perspective is about divinity and how that rolls out in their understanding of how we relate to people and how we are to live our lives. So I'm fascinated to see that. The other thing I'm of course very interested in is how these colors, if we use them, talk to each other. You know, what does a conversation between purple and red look like, and then on into the other. And so, you know, this could take far more than 3 sessions for us to practice, because at the end of the day, we need to learn to have interaction and conversation with one another in accepting and also in provocative and inspiring and growing kinds of ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think a lot of the sort of the juice for those of us on this call is really going to be when we get into the next 3 stages, because those 3 stages are very much alive in the political domain, in our culture, like everywhere we look. So that's where the struggle is also, because we actually don't know how to have those conversations with each other. And by no means, and this is also, I just want to address this to Jack as well, by no means is this or any theory or philosophy that we learn is going to be the end-all be-all of all of our problems in our world. This is just one other tool that can be helpful in certain areas of our lives. So organizations are using this in order to see how they can grow and function as a highly evolved company, where they might begin to see that we've been functioning as a red company, just fighting with each other. And our leadership in corporate communities, you can even actually see a certain kind of a purple, like corporate leadership teams sometimes behave like the secretive team, and they have a lot of power, but they get really secretive about everything. And that can go into a lot of that in sports teams even. So yeah, anyone else? Any comments, questions, concerns? Oh, wait, there's a couple of messages maybe that I didn't see.
Yeah, I think there was one question in the chat earlier.
Yeah, are these colors are true reflection of emotions? I mean, if there are any studies regarding colors and stages of development. Yes, so spiral dynamics, Hira, I think you have said that you came a little late. That's okay. So in the earlier beginnings, we talked about spiral dynamics being developed and researched by Dr. Clare Graves. And into the chat field, I also put a link to just the Wikipedia page. And on that Wikipedia page, you'll be able to see some of the research behind this. And I also, in the chat field, you'll also see there is one link to a video, which it says further notes on the origins of spiral dynamics. And within parentheses, it says video. That's a video in which I'm really talking about how this whole thing came into being. I'm in that video, you'll get to learn more about it. And for anyone who came late, Spiral Dynamics playlist is a video dedicated to each stage. So every single stage has a different video, and me and my colleague are going far more deeper into discussing each stage in those videos. So if you feel like it, you can watch blue, orange, and green videos prior to our next session. When is the date for the next session, Hardy? Do you remember?
That's going to be October the 27th.
October the
so
27th.
2 Thursdays from now on the same time, 7:30 to 9 o'clock.
Yeah. So between now and then, your homework is just to start observing your surroundings, but don't forget to observe your inner landscape as well. And just to see how these energies are potentially showing up in you, how these energies are still alive in you. When you get really pissed off with somebody the next time, that's a little bit of your red picking its head. When you go into that fight, flight, freeze mode, your earliest stages of your brain development are activated. And its manifestation is through a sort of that beige level of consciousness. You're literally, your survival mechanisms are kicking into gear. So start noticing in yourself how these stages are showing up, as well as how you might notice it in movies, in book characters that you may read. And start to see you will start to see there's a lot of red in a lot of political leaders. Okay.
Thank you so much, Nomali. And thank you everyone for being on the call. It's what we create together. We're together as one, and we're moving forward with that. And so wishing everyone all the best, and let's just send some love to each other here. Take a look at some of the folks on the screen here, and even those that are not on screen, and just send some of your good intentions and goodness and love and kindness. We all need it.
By the way,
thank you,
Hardy,
everyone.
Thank you. Hira has asked for the recording, so I'm assuming you will maybe send out the recording at some point.
We can do that. And I'm not sure we have everyone's email. And so if you would put that in the chat, we can make sure that you get the recording, and just maybe make a note, would like recording. And we'll wait a few minutes longer for anyone who wants to write that in the chat. And Kartik and Nicole, can you make sure, please, that we save the chat so that we have that information? Yeah, and invite 17 of your friends next time, and let's continue to enjoy this expansion and learning together.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing as many of you as possible who can join us next time. We'll go into the stages that are most alive in our world today and see what we can talk about that.
Great.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Lots of love. Take care, Phyllis. So good to see you.